All right, we are ready to take notes for today. This is solving inequalities using addition and subtraction day 1. Homework number 408, chapter 4.5 in Big Ideas, page 152 of the textbook if you look it up online. So, today we are doing addition property of inequalities. It says when you add the same number to each side of an inequality, the inequality remains true. So if I add 2 to both sides of an inequality, it is still the same. It's kind of like with addition and subtraction for equations. The only thing different today is you will have an inequality instead of an equal sign. So here's an example from the book. You notice they have x minus 5 less than negative 3. You want to get rid of the minus 5 by adding 5. So they get x is less than 2. Since x is less than 2, you put a circle at the 2. It's open, and less than goes to the left. So that's the example they have from the book. Go ahead and turn the page, and we're going to do a problem together. So we have y minus 6 greater than negative 7. So again, variable term is our y. We have to get rid of minus 6 by adding 6. So we add 6 to both sides of the inequality. We still get our y. Bring down our greater than symbol because the 6 is canceled. And then you have to go negative 7 plus 6. So negative 7 plus 6 is negative 1. Now to graph it, you would find the negative 1 and you'd put an empty circle. And greater than goes to the right. So find the negative 1, empty circle, greater than to the right. All right, the next one. Variable term is b. We have to get rid of minus 3.8 by adding 3.8. So I add 3.8. B, these cancel. Bring down your less than or equal to. And then you go 1.7 plus 3.8. We get 5.5. So on your number line, you would find where it's 5.5. The circle would be closed because it does say equal to. So you shade the circle, and less than goes to the left. So 5.5, circle's closed, going to the left. Okay, so next one. Our variable term is right here, so we got to get rid of the minus 1/4. Again, if you don't have a fraction calculator, you're going to want to get one, especially if we're not at school. So we add 1/4 to both sides. So we go negative 1/2 plus 1/4. Should end up with negative 1/4 greater than x. Now I like to rewrite that with the variable first. So x, flip your inequality, so less than, and negative 1/4. See how they're both pointing to the x? Now on my graph, I would look for the negative 1/4. The circle would be empty or open. And less than, if I'm looking at the one with the variable first, goes to the left. All right. Turn to the next page. So the subtraction property of inequality. So basically this one's saying if you subtract the same number from both sides, the inequality is still the same. So that works for all the inequalities. If you subtract the same number from each side. So here's the example from the book. You notice the variables here, they take away 14. They end up with this. Rewrite it with your x first. Circles shaded or closed going to the right. All right, so that's an example from the book you can look at. Let's try the problem right below it. So our variable term is right here, x. To get rid of plus 3, we go minus 3 to both sides of the inequality. I get my x, bring down the inequality. Negative 1 minus 3. Check that. What is negative 1 minus 3? Negative 4. That means on your number line, you'd find the negative 4. The circle would be closed because it does say equal to. That little line right here, that means equal to. That means you shade the circle. And less than goes to the left. All right. 2 more problems. Turn it to the next page. So I find my variable term, which is x. I need to get rid of my plus 10, so I go minus 10 and minus 10. So I would go 8.5 minus 10. You get negative 1.5. Bring down your inequality symbol and your variable. Again, I like to write it with the x first. So I would put my variable term first, flip my inequality. So instead of greater than or equal to, it's less than or equal to, and then my negative 1.5. So on my graph, I would try to find where negative 1.5 is. And the circle above it, I would make empty, or is it shaded? Since it has the equal to symbol, you have to shade it or make sure it's closed. So you have to pick the one with the shaded circle. And less than goes to the left. So the graphing might be a little difficult on the computer. You got to make sure you're picking the correct shading of the circle and your arrows going the correct way. And you got to make sure you put it on the right place on the graph. All right, last one. Here's my variable term. Need to get rid of plus 3/4, so I go minus 3/4. Got to do that to both sides. So I get x greater than. So I have to go 1 1/2 minus 3/4. I should end up with a positive 3/4. So on my graph, I would find the 3/4. The circle, is it going to be empty or shaded? It's going to be empty because there's no equal to symbol. And greater than, like that, points to the right. So it goes to the right. All right, go ahead and get out your, next page has your homework in it. So if you flip to the next page in your packet, you're going to start homework 408. Make sure you write it in the packet and put your answers in the computer. And hopefully you do well. And where there's check buttons, make sure you're doing it right. Ask questions. If you're stuck on anything, get a hold of me.